Have you noticed how busy you are these days? Have you noticed the number of things you have to do? Well, maybe not you. You have nothing to do. That's why you're watching this little quick talk. But for many of us, we seem to have huge workloads. And have you noticed how your huge workload means that you have very little time to actually plan and think things through? And so therefore, you actually don't know what you're committed to. And so when somebody comes along, like your boss does, and says, why don't you or could you add? You say yes more than is realistic, and that pushes your workload even higher. Now you've got a bigger workload, you've got even less time to plan or do things. And have you noticed how that means that sometimes you come very close to the edge on things other people think are important, their deadlines? Do they sit around waiting? No, they come and they interrupt you. So you find yourself restarting several half-done jobs and having to juggle them around, which pushes your workload higher. So giving you even less time now to plan or to do or to think or to be creative about it. And so the net result of that is that you then are disorganized, and people know you're disorganized, so they can text you and send you BlackBerry messages and chase you because they know you don't know what you're doing. Has that happened to you? Do you recognize any of that? Has that happened to your colleagues? Well, why does that happen? You're smart people, you're a smart person. Why would that happen to you? I'll let you in on a secret. The secret is very simple. The secret is that the way you're trying to operate probably doesn't match the world we're living in. You see, we're living in a very unique time in human history. It's a time when, for managers and executives in business, for most of us, the pace of change around us and in our business environments is a little bit faster than our ability to learn and cope with it. The net result of that is that things come along which you hadn't been expecting. But even more importantly than that, chances are the things which you're doing don't really match what you should be doing. Give you a little example. I watch this happen to lots of executives. They're busy, they rush around, they create emails, they send them to people. I send you an email, you send me a reply, but you copy someone else in. Then 4 or 5 people are involved. There's a big discussion. Then finally we have to have a meeting to try and resolve it all. Why did you do it that way round? Why didn't you get the right people together in the first place? Well, that's because at the back of your mind, you're imagining that you're still working in the old traditional world, and that actually sending an email is a bit like sending a memo. It's not like that. We're in a complex world. In a complex world, you start to think about your stakeholders first. Who's going to be affected by this? Before you start to communicate. You don't communicate and then discover the stakeholders. In a complex world which is changing all the time, you try to make sure that when you're planning something, you plan in reverse. You work out what the end game is, and then you work your way backwards and brainstorm how you got there. You don't rush towards it trying to get the work done, because all it does is generate more noise, and in the classic fashion of one change leading to another, it becomes chaotic. There are about 12 such rules which you need to understand. Otherwise, as a New World manager, you'll constantly be spending your life running around, putting lots of energy in, lots and lots of heat, and very, very little light.